Hey folks, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of From the Canopy Film Show, and I'm joined as always with my co-host Cornelius, aka Evil Corny.
Hey, what's up?
Same old man. We here to talk about some movies, so I hope you're excited, because I am.
Ah, yeah, I'm ready.
How am I sounding though, man? We got some new mics over here, man.
Oh,
So,
that's you sound good.
all right, that's cool, man. Yeah, that other set was just really messed up, man. So, should have been switched those out.
But they
But
were so fancy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got another fancy set, so
Okay.
but they work. They I don't know what happened with that set. We got a few movies for you guys this week, man. Some of them are better than others, but I'm going to set it off with the film called Shelby Oaks. And this is a horror mystery film. And it's directed by Chris Struckman, who kind of, I guess he's a YouTuber, man, and he kind of led this campaign and fought hard to get this movie made. You know, it's always cool when someone can pull that off. Um, and the story goes as this: a woman's search for her long lost sister becomes an obsession when she realizes a demon from their childhood may have been real, not imaginary. And this film stars Camille Sullivan, Sarah Dern. We've also got Keith David. He has a part in this. Michael Beach, Brendan Sexton the third. Oh yeah, we also got Robin Bartlett and a few others. But this film was a mystery movie because I didn't even plan on seeing it. I had no idea what it was about or anything. So going into this blind. And for the most part, I was a little bit underwhelmed, man. I will speak about the film's strengths. It starts off with a kind of a mockumentary style presentation. It's kind of bookended by that. So in the beginning, we get this story. The sister that's missing had become a famous YouTuber that explored haunted places. And there's some kind of cool stuff. They kind of imply like she might have been faking some of this stuff. And then there's one clip that they show where they kind of enter this prison and she's scared like out of her mind, man. And they go into this thing, weird stuff is happening, and she disappears. Her and her crew will disappear and they're just gone, never to be seen for again. So I forgot the time period that passes. It feels like maybe I'm not sure how many years. Maybe it's about 12 years. I could be a little bit wrong on that time scale. So her sister kind of never gave up the search for her, kind of gets clues that she could possibly be still alive, and then it kind of goes on from there. And for the most part, what worked up for me the most was those mockumentary style presentations at the beginning. I kind of thought the film was gonna go completely like that, but then it switches up into the sister kind of investigating it like your typical paranormal investigative film. And there was some cool stuff in here, I will say. This thing is kind of, I think it ran a little bit long, a little bit bloated, and kind of meanders a bit, but there were a couple of cool sequences, involving like some of these encounters with this entity. I thought those were kind of handled real well, but like it was also a film that just started to lose me about halfway through because things were being so drawn out and it was just kind of getting repetitive, and there was a lot of stuff that was just thrown in here. This film feels like it was trying to emulate a lot of different classic films of this nature. It didn't really quite nail its own identity, and also it's kind of interesting too, because when I say bookended, it's not fully bookended, because then this mockumentary thing comes back into play to kind of wrap things up, but then the film goes on a little bit longer from there, as a last ditch effort to, I think for me personally, I think it was just to, make you feel something, you know what I'm saying? And not go out in a total like dud kind of way. And it's interesting, man. Like personally, if I'm gonna rate this film, I'm probably giving it maybe a 2.5 to 3 out of 5. A lot of people are praising it and they're going really crazy with this, with Struckman's, direction. And I don't know, man. I got a feeling some of these people are inclined to be nice to this film because they contributed to the Kickstarter or something. But hey, I don't know. Don't shoot me. I'm
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
I'm just throwing my 2 cents out there. But it will be released soon. I'm not sure the exact release date because, like I said, the mystery movie usually shows us a film that's on its way to being released. Sometimes that window could be a week, sometimes it could be a month, but it's going to be out there if any folks want to indulge and see for themselves, what it's like. But like I said, there is some promise in it, but I think the parts that pop don't really add to, culminate into a particularly interesting whole, at least not for me, and like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. There's some Ring, there's some Blair Witch, there's some like any other thing, some Conjuring, anything you could think of at the kitchen sink, man. There's fucking a pack of wild dogs, which kind of gave me notions of In the Mouth of Madness. And yeah, it's just an interesting bag, so I don't know.
It's saying October 24th. That's last Friday.
Okay. Okay, so it's out there now.
But I
don't know. It might be hard to find.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anybody say anything about it at all other than you.
Yeah. Like I said, if it wasn't a mystery movie, this probably is not on my radar, and I'm not particularly a big fan of supernatural kind of film. I just feel like these stories kind of just all kind of go the same way, and it's just like, yeah, y'all got to mix this up a little bit more for me, But it's out there, man, if you want to check it out. So the next thing I want to talk about, I don't know if this is fully a film because it's a serial thing. It's got parts, but I guess we could count that. Maybe a film they broke up in a bunch of parts. But Mr. Scorsese, and I think this is Apple TV Plus, right? Or now they call it just Apple TV.
It's pretty much a documentary series in a way. And it's just pretty much talking about Martin Scorsese's life in film, pretty much going over his life story. They didn't cover every film about it, but they just, covered where he comes from an immigrant family and his parents are Sicilian, I guess. And just him growing up in New York and what brought him in the film. He wanted to be a clergy at first. And that, yeah. Yeah, I think he liked the women a little too much to be in that, and got interested in film. Something that he was kind of playing around with when he was a kid, making home movies. It kind of reminded me a lot of like Spielberg in a way. From what I know of Spielberg, Scorsese is like one of my favorite film directors, and it was just good seeing this background for him. But I just hate that they didn't cover all of his movies when they did this. They kind of skipped over a couple.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because there was a time period where like him, I think Spielberg, De Palma, Ford Coppola were kind of, in the game at the same time and kind of, friends in a way and kind of creative collaborators at times, kind of giving each other input on each other's films or even throwing each other jobs if work was available. It's like, I can't do this. Why don't you go get De Palma or why don't you go get Spielberg to do it? So kind of stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting.
Spielberg's one of the talking heads in this. Yeah, so many talking heads in this film, but in this series, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would love to see something like a round table with those guys, before it's all said and done. Just
Spielberg, De Palma, Scorsese.
Chopping it up in general. George Lucas too, man.
Yeah. And and also like Spike Lee shows up a couple times in this because I think he's a student of Scorsese. He taught him in film school, but I just think it's cool that him and Spike are friends. And he's produced like Clockers and he might have been a producer of Do the Right Thing if I'm right. But his name shows up in some of Spike's early stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. I'll make sure I make some time for this, man, to check it out. It's getting busy.
It's 4 hours.
I told myself I want to watch all the Oscar nominees, at least the feature length ones. I really don't do shorts, but I'm gonna try to get those in this year. Some people are starting to put out their lists. I saw the Gotham, they're putting out Gotham Awards, so they're putting out their nominations and stuff. So it's crazy because Best Picture has like a bunch of films I've never heard of, and I'm in the movies all the damn time.
Yeah,
a bunch of movies on there I ain't never heard of, man. There's one though that just came out today that I want to see. It's called I think it's Herda, directed by Nia DaCosta. I think it stars what's the girl's name? I can't remember it right. Tessa Thompson. And that one actually got Tessa Thompson for they got her in there for nominated by the Gotham Awards for Best, Actor. So I'm gonna check that out pretty soon too, man. That's on Amazon Prime Video now. I'm gonna start with Christy. So Christy Is also another one that I didn't plan on seeing. I saw this trailer and was like, nah, what are we doing? But it was also a mystery movie. This was the one I saw this past Monday. And Christy tells the story of boxer Christy Martin. Christy Martin
Oh,
never imagined life beyond her small town roots in West Virginia until she discovered a knack for punching people. Fueled by grit, raw determination, and an unshakable desire to win, she charges into the world of boxing under the guidance of her trainer and manager turned husband, Jim. Flaunting a fiery persona in the ring, her toughest battles start to unfold outside of it as she confronts family, identity, and a relationship that just might become life or death. And this film is directed by David Machad. It stars Sydney Sweeney as Christy Martin. We've also got Ben Foster who plays Jim Martin. Merritt Weaver plays Christy's mom, Joyce. We've also got a love interest played by Jessica Boyle's Rosie. We also Caddy O'Brien, who plays another boxer in this, who she would later on marry, which was kind of interesting. And let me see who else is there. Chad Coleman, he's great in this. He plays Don King because of course you got to get some Don King in this. This is based on true events, and I think those are going to be our main players in this movie. I was rather surprised with this, bro. I was expected to hate this movie because I thought that trailer was butt when I saw it. The internet was making fun of it, but this is actually a decent biopic sports film. I think boxing is one of the most compelling sports you could put in film. You know, just the stories behind it, they just usually pretty good. I mean, you go anything from Southpaw to Creed, Rocky, of course, and just
last
over
year
the
we had
years,
that. Last year we had
Cinderella
the power.
Man,
Yeah, last year we had the power inside.
yeah, Fire
That did,
Inside.
yeah, I kind of hate that didn't do better like award season.
Yeah, yeah,
That
they kind of
was really
overlooked it,
good.
man. But this one, like I said, man, I think Sydney Sweeney is good enough in this film. I didn't get the idea that she was actually fully capturing the essence of Christy Martin, but I will say this, there's some really like her story is really rough, bro. It's there was an ESPN, I think it's Netflix right now has a series, I think it's called Untold or something like that about sports. And that's a really good episode, man. Just watching her story, you're gonna be like, "Whoa, what the hell?" But there's moments in this film that get really low and emotional, and she's great at those parts. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think the boxing scenes were that well shot in this. They're okay. They're passable. What else, man? Yeah, and the script, man. It's not as it doesn't hit me as hard as the Fire Inside, but it has some good moments, man. So the person who I think steals the scenery in this film is Ben Foster, who plays her abusive husband and manager, Jim. And dude, it's crazy, man. This dude, he's horrible, man. It's giving me notions of Lawrence Fishburne and What's Love Got to Do with It
Really,
type of yes, like that type of just crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to be my advocate, but you're holding me back so much at the same time, man. And there's just some really strange decisions that he makes. Like there's one point where I think she's doing an interview and she says something about, yeah, Don King, why don't you, I could use some more money, I'm doing good in these fights. And she throws a look at her husband. And I didn't pick up on it at first, but apparently her husband told her to say that. So then when they go sit down with Don King again, he's like, yeah, this is cool. We're going to set this up, Chrissy. But if you ever talk to the press about, your compensation again, you out of here. And you could tell, like, that's when you realize, like, oh, he told her to say this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
you're sabotaging me, with this little stuff that you're doing. And it's just really little subtle things like that, man. And I think it's kind of crazy too. We do get Merritt Weaver who plays Joyce, her mom, and you see how her mom has kind of treated her and like, oh man, I hated her by the end of this movie. Not because she's did a bad job, but because she's done a good job. The people that are antagonists in this movie, including Jim, are really good, bro. You hate to see their faces by the end of this thing, man. I could definitely see Ben Foster getting a nomination, man, and it's wow. I don't think this is spoilery,
He's a
but
good actor anyway. You don't
yeah.
really see him, and yeah,
Yeah. But I think this is going to be his breakout like character role. And it's not I don't think it's spoilery, the story's out there, but he ends up like stabbing her first of all and shooting her, leaving her for dead, bro. Somehow she got out of the house and was able to flag down a motorist and that ended up saving her life. But But like, yeah, man, I still like I put my review up on this. I think I gave this 3.5 stars, but honestly, it's probably closer to like a 3.75. And
Okay.
like I said, it surprised me. Sweeney's she's capable. I kind of wish someone else got cast in this role in a way, but I understand why she's in this film. This film probably
Probably
doesn't get made
producing.
if you don't
Yeah.
have her in. Yeah, that too. But this film probably doesn't get made if she's not in it. You know what I'm saying? Or they would have to find someone equally as, you know, big. But yeah, man, this thing, like, I was fully engrossed, dude. I was surprised I was in, like, once this gets going, and I was not bored. The thing plays out. Shout out to Chad Coleman. He plays Cuddy from The Wire. You've seen him in stuff over the years. I think he's in the Expanse series.
Yeah.
Great, man. His Don King was so good. I was like, bro, if they ever make a Don King biopic again, like, they gotta cast this dude
I've
because
been
he
saying,
was.
I've been saying, I know the first one they did was Bing Rings, right?
Yeah, but man, he's hilarious, dude. Like, the audience was really responding to him so well, man. So charismatic. I was like, man, that's Don King. For a second, I thought they pulled the real Don King out to do
He's
this.
still alive.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he is out there, man. Shit, I don't know. Where we at? Yeah, he's still alive, bro.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
94 years old, bro. Don King is
Wow.
94 years old, man. Wow. Yeah, but over, like I said, man, this thing was good, dude. I'm wondering how the audience is going to react to it when it goes wide. I'm not sure what the release date. Let me see what's the yeah, man. So the release date is November 6th. So it's going
Okay.
to be out next weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I had a solid time. Like I said, man, I was surprised at the entertainment value in this thing, man. Like, it's not as engrossing as Creed, or I don't think it's as well made as the Fire Inside, but it's a good boxing film, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's
So,
crazy, man. I think the last time I saw, all right, you got the Fire Inside, but I think the first film I saw about a woman boxer might have been Girl Fight with
okay. Yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez. That was
Yeah.
really good, man. That actually feels closer to this than
Okay.
some of the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then I remember the one that got big, $1 Million Baby, of course. I think that
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
next big one. And then there have been some after that, some not so good. But yeah, this was a really solid entry, bro. I was surprised, man, at the overall effort. You know what I'm saying? I was prepared to really hate on Sweeney, but I think she does a good enough job here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And overall, depending on how you feel about her, I still think has managed to get his point across, and is just good, well done, in general, for what it is. So let me see. The last one I'm gonna get here is gonna be Black Phone 2. We've been highly anticipating this. I didn't know how they were gonna swing this back around, but all right, now I see how once we've seen it play out. But directed by Scott Derrickson. In this film, bad dreams haunt 15-year-old Gwen as she receives calls from the Black Phone and sees disturbing visions of three boys being stalked at a winter camp. Accompanied by her brother Finn, they head to the camp to solve the mystery, only to confront the grabber, a killer who's grown even more powerful in death. Yeah, yeah, this one's interesting, man. So we've all got Mason Thames coming back as Finney. We've got Ethan Hawke, who reprises his role as a grabber. Although I'm not sure, man, that could have been anybody under that mask,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
all I know. We've also got Madeline McGraw, who plays Gwen. She's back as well. Ariana Rivas is new here. Got Jeremy Davies. He's back as Terrence, their father. Apparently he's clean now,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
seems to have him a little bit more stressed out when
Yeah. No. Yeah. I
when he
kind of picked
wasn't.
up on that.
Yeah, yeah, that was kind of interesting, man. But overall, man, I rather enjoyed this film, man. We kind of going back into this realm. It seems like this killer has somehow manifested himself again, and apparently there's new crimes that occurred at this camp that's still kind of close to where our main characters live out there in Colorado. And she's getting these visions of these three children that apparently I guess has been dead. The phone starts ringing again. You know what I'm saying? And the grabber starts manifesting in the dreams. This grabber has suddenly become Freddy Krueger, man. You know what I'm saying? Which makes this thing a little bit derivative in a way, but I don't think that takes away. Some people were knocking that, but I still really had a good time watching this. I don't know what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
because it was similar to that Dream Warriors version of Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think they made a better story than anything that Friday the 13th had, not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street has done. I was kind of glad that the grabber was still menacing in this. And it was even scarier that,
Man,
it was even scarier that he was able to get in this, girl's dreams. Finn and his sister are psychic or whatever, and
hmm
it's it was just real interesting how he was able to kind of affect her in the real world, when she
yeah,
slept, and just and
man, he was busting out
actually
some killer moves though
yeah,
too, man. Like,
actually interacting with people that were actually in the real world as a ghost, and you really don't see that
hmm
as a film, but really he was still hunting that place in a way, but
hmm
through her and her dreams or whatever, he could. That's the only way that anybody could really physically fight him.
hmm
But I just thought that was I thought it was a nice little touch on that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
I
was
even like the camp counselor characters too, man, because they add another dynamic into this too with their kind of overtly religious. You know what I'm saying? There was some
yeah,
stuff that
yeah,
they weren't like keen to, and they were like, "Oh, I'm like, yo, you could be scared all you want and pray, but you gonna have to fight sooner or
you had to
later,
fight.
or this
Yeah,
thing's
yeah.
gonna, like this
You can't
thing's gonna
cower
kill
down
you,
to this
man."
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you can pray all you want, but this stuff is in your hands right now.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There was some cool stuff, man. I like what they were doing too with the set design, like especially that whole lake thing, man. Because I was looking at it and I'm like, yo. At first, I thought it was kind of all green screen, but I was like, man, this kind of looks like a set,
Real
dude.
life.
Like there
Yeah,
were certain
yeah,
shots of it where you could see the wall, and I was like, that looks like that's really there, especially certain angles when it hit really wonky. And I was like, nah, I could see the flatness of this. Like that's something that's something they built, especially
yeah,
with the
yeah,
hole and all that pit, man. I think that added a cool look to it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of
yeah.
just going for like when I looked at what's the name just came out Dead of Winter. And Dead of Winter kind of has a similar frozen lake thing, but you could tell that's totally outside,
Uh,
and even though this one looks like a set, I think that's cool at times, man. Cause
well,
like, like I
all this
kind of
is
like that
happening
look
that
at times.
all this was happening that night, and it kind of gives that a different like element to it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I kind of like that though.
It's real. It's
You
real
don't need to
creepy.
you don't need to be on location. I think
Yeah,
there's a stylization that comes with making a set. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
like
yeah.
where you're building it and it's physically there and it feels like a different location. And then
And
you can play with the
everything about
lighting.
it is like real isolated. How they were,
Hmm Yeah.
where they were and all that. I was real impressed with this film. I
hmm
and I'm just glad it just wasn't another like sequel. Just a sequel, and they just was making it just to be making it. You know what I'm saying?
hmm hmm Yeah, I mean, yeah. It definitely felt like it added on because it also explained some things that happened. It kept throwing back to the original film
Yeah.
and some of the happenings, and I don't know, man. It was good enough for me where I would like to see another one. I'll go back, like if they keep bringing this character back.
Well,
My only real complaint though is the grabber himself, man. Like I think there could be some more put into his character design. Like at one point he's got on bell bottoms. I mean, they're not going to change the mask, but his outfit was kind of lacking. I was like, man, if you want to be amongst one of the greats, Freddie, Jason, and them, you got
yeah,
to
but
come better than this, dude.
think about when this is set. This whole story is still set in the '80s, so
Yeah, but
yeah, it's
still,
still set in the
our
'80s.
guys were born in the '80s. The greats, the Michael
Yeah.
Myers, and there's just something I think they could step up with his design and kind of, give it. I don't know, give him more of an identity because right now he's just a guy in a goofy mask. You know.
Well, the thing about this is, I kind of wouldn't mind Finn and his sister actually getting in something without the grabber being involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that could be
Because
cool
both of them
because
are psychics and they kind of pick up
yeah,
on stuff. And
maybe there's
that's one
something.
thing. That's one thing about it. Like Finn was getting calls from like out of order phones. Just like him
Hmm
going to the store and stuff. So
hmm
I kind of could see them kind of being. I wouldn't don't want it to be too goofy, but like somewhat investigators or stuff.
Maybe there's a woman grabber type
Yeah,
character out
yeah,
there that they can encounter in some random like maybe that becomes their thing because It's not over. And like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said, they have contact with the dead, specifically the dead that have died from, really or been murdered. You know what I'm saying? So that's potential right there, man. That's a good
yeah,
idea. Like you said, like just put them out in the world, and maybe they're going on to a different part of their life. Maybe there's in college now, and all of a sudden the phone start ringing again, and they got
yeah, yeah.
another case to solve. Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely down with that, man. Yeah. And maybe Ethan Hawke can play a character without the mask. Because we really don't. Yeah, do we know what the grabber looks like?
Yeah.
I mean, but have they showed his face? Because even when he takes the mask off in this, there's a lot of distortion and decay. It's not like Ethan Hawke's
Yeah, but
face, you
remember,
know.
you just, without spoiling anything, there was a flashback of who he was, you know.
Oh, so we do see him
And in the
without the
original
mask.
film, I think they showed him, don't they?
I
Because
don't
he's living with,
remember. See, I got to go back and watch. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying. I'm like,
he's living with his brother in the first one. He wasn't wearing that mask the whole time.
okay, okay. hmm Yeah, yeah. So, oh, damn, never mind. I was saying maybe Ethan could play a regular guy. Ah, you the grabber now. Yeah, but I think that's it, man. I mean, I don't got anything else. I did see Frankenstein, but I'm gonna wait till the next episode to talk about that. I was able to go check that out in the theater. I went to the down here Landmark East Street, which wasn't on East Street, but I guess they just called them Landmark. I don't know if that one was a Landmark East Street. Maybe it's a Landmark Bethesda. I think their name of them sub name is after the location. But
Okay.
it was okay, man. I had a good time, man. I'm gonna wait to get your impression. I think that's out next week as well on
No, not
Netflix.
until the 7th of November.
Yeah, yeah. So that's next week. Boom. Yeah, next week,
Oh,
next Friday or
that's right.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
okay.
29th today, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
comes out
Yeah.
next
Oh,
Friday.
my bad. My bad.
hmm
I will be covering that film on Trick or Treat Radio on the
hmm
12th. So,
Okay.
but we can do an early show that day because I'm off work that day. So if you
All
want
right,
to.
yeah, yeah. We could probably pull that off. Yeah, because it's about a 2 hour, 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So it's got some length to it, but it'll be available, I think, from 3 a.m. Thursday night, Friday morning, however you want to look at it, and on. So if you want to get in early, we can knock that out before you do the trick or treat episode. I'm
Okay.
trying to think what else I'm gonna watch. I just got when that what's that out? Hedda. I want to check that out. It's Nia Casa. I think it's a drama based on romance, which is based on I think it's based on a novel or something. Um Starring Tessa Thompson. And I'm really just interested because I like Tessa Thompson and I'm really hyped for Nia DaCosta. I think she's a great director. We've got her 28 days sequel on the way coming up early next year. And this is coming out. I didn't even know this was in development. So this is based on Heinrich Ibsen's classic play. Hedda finds herself torn between the lingering ache of a past love and the quiet suffocation of her present life. It's also got who else is in this? Nina Hoss, Imogen Poots, Tom Bateman, Eve Houston, Saffron Hawking, Catherine Hunter, Nicholas Pinnock, and Nicholas Bishop are also in this with her. So, yeah, I'm trying to see. I might watch this one tonight. I also got me a copy of Coyotes, man. So I'm gonna check that out. There's another one on my radar right now. I
Oh,
gotta
really?
watch too.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Coyotes on pay-per-view now or is it in
Yeah,
theaters?
you can watch it. Yeah, you can watch it on
Okay.
paper. You can rent it now. Ballad of a Small Player. This one is. Let me see what the details are on this. This one is Colin Farrell's latest.
Okay.
Um.
Oh, Heather's
Uh.
on Prime tomorrow.
mhm.
Or today. Today. 29th?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually, it's Netflix.
I'm seeing Prime.
Boom. Yeah, I'm showing a Netflix official trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the the thing about it or what they're claiming. But this one when it's past and his debts start to catch up with him, a high stakes gambler laying low and Macaw encounters a kindred spirit who might just hold the key to his salvation. Uh, Let me see where we at. It's not getting the best reviews, but I'm still gonna watch
What film
it.
is this again?
It's called Ballad of a Small Player. I
Okay.
guess he's
I was talking about Hedda. being on Prime.
Oh, Header is Prime Video. Yeah, that's out now.
Yeah, that's what I was confused when you.
Yeah, Ballad of a Small Player is going to be a Netflix
Okay,
film.
I do see that. Yeah.
Yeah. What else I got here? I got a lot of stuff to watch, bro. I'm trying to catch up on all this stuff. Yeah, I highly recommend Dead of Winter if you haven't seen that yet. That's out also. You can rent that. I did rewatch The Long Walk, man, and that film still, man, it hits hard, bro. Like it's
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
bro.
waiting on that to come out on Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah, they got yeah, you can rent that now. And I got another one called Xeno I need to check out. I think I've mentioned this last time. This girl ends up getting an alien pet. And this alien is deadly, but she's just walking around like that's her best friend. So
Huh.
that's yeah, I think let me see where we at with this. Yeah, you can rent that one now. Teenage girl develops an otherworldly bond with the alien after it crash lands in the desert. As government agents close in, she must protect her new friend while uncovering the secret that could change the fate of both of their worlds. This sounds like what's that damn movie with the Disney movie? Except this alien is
Lilo and
deadly.
Stitch.
This ain't no Stitch. Yeah, like Lilo and Stitch, man. But this ain't no Stitch. This thing looks way more serious. It looks like one of them. You ever see the Brood on X-Men?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, man. But yeah, that's it, man. I got nothing else to mention really. Um, and this meeting is about to be adjourned. Our time's running out. But yeah, I think that's it, folks. You can catch us on the next show. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. We're gonna be back soon. Check us out on Instagram at Classic Cinematics. We're also on TikTok at Classic Cinematics. And that's gonna be it. You catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram.
On Cornelius Bros, you can find me on Facebook at Cornelius Bros, as Cornelius Bros on Instagram
Mhm.
at